we do not want to stand in the way of the salary increases of our employees. It would have been worse if a negative vote has been cast by the majority, because then our workers in government would not have any increase. You know, as they say, a glass half full is better than an empty glass. So that's why we cast a vote of abstention, because while we believe that the increase is not sufficient, we do appreciate that a negative vote would have meant that we are opposing the increases in salary, which we are not. We're saying that we are abstaining because we do not find the increases sufficient to respond to the needs of our government workers, and that is why we voted. We did not cast an was the original answer to our proposal. 10 billion is totally within range of the budgetary outlay, Mr. President. We emphasize it's 10 billion additional for year one. So we are saying that we cannot afford this. We have made an amendment, Mr. President. I ask for a vote, and let us put on record how we view this proposed additional increase to our government workers.
We yield to the body, Your Honor, but again, we emphasize that 10 billion is a very conservative figure, given that it does not include the 13th and 14th month pay and the additional indirect amounts which are subsidized by the government in the form of pag-ibig and PhilHealth payments, Mr. President.
No, nothing to do with the salary increase. The PhilHealth and pag-ibig payments have nothing to do with the salary increase. With all due respect to the good sponsor.
Mr. President, with due respect to the distinguished minority leader, when you increase the salary, the contribution share of the government also increases.
And so does the contribution of the employee.
Yes, Your Honor, but we're talking about the amount to be funded by the government. So the amount to be funded by the government is not just the pure salary increase, but it's also the logical consequences of the salary increase, Mr. President.
That is the necessary consequence of allowing the employees more income. And there are a lot of theories, economic theories about this, Mr. President, whether or not the additional increase is beneficial to the economy or not. Are you telling us, Mr. President, that the 32 billion does not include the contributions to GSIS and pag-ibig?
It includes, Your Honor. It is inclusive.
So anyway, Mr. President, we have an amendment which is not accepted, and therefore we ask for nominal voting. So the nominal voting, as stated by the good president, the Senate President, is those who are in favor of the Drilon amendment, which will increase at least 5% across the board, say yes, vote yes. Those who are against it, vote no.
All right. The request is for a nominal voting, so we will do away with the usual ayes and nays and the raising of hands and proceed with a nominal vote on the amendment.
Against the motion, Mr. President, if I may be allowed to explain, according to the DBM, it's not just 42 billion that will be needed. It will be in the range of 60 to 65 billion, which effectively doubles the financial requirements for raising. And as much as we would like to do that, these are not things that we can do with just a mere speech or a stroke of the pen, Mr. President. These are things that need to be thought out well, because this is taxpayer money, and this, as mentioned very eloquently by Senator Gordon, we have to study these things very carefully, because next year we will need more money for universal health care, we will need more money for free college education, which all will be funded by taxpayer money. So I regret that I cannot vote with my idols.
All right, Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. And also, if I may be allowed to give a 30-second explanation. Mr. President, I support the proposal of the Minority Floor Leader. It's just that I'm worried about a message to the President from the DBM to veto it because they don't have the funds for the increase, which will actually bring us back to square one. But I do appreciate the Senate Minority Leader's push for an additional 5% for everyone. Very laudable move, Mr. President. Mr. President, with that, no other amendments on the floor?
Just for the record,
Yes, Mr. President.
the Senate President is always allowed to vote.
Yes.
The only time the Senate President should not vote is when he is chairman of the Commission on Appointments.
Yes, that's correct, Mr. President.
Yeah, so just for the record. And then the reason that, to explain my vote of an abstention, I was trying to soften the blow.
To our minority floor leader. Yeah, that you're one. We're in sync, actually, Mr. President. We are in sync.
All right.
But, Mr. President-
therefore, are you moving to close the period
Yes,
of
Mr.
amendments?
President. I move to close the period of amendments.
Any objection? Hearing none, period of amendments closed.
Mr. President, I move to approve on second reading Senate Bill number 1219. I so move.
Any objection? Hearing none. The minority leader is recognized.
This is not an objection, Mr. President, since the amendment that we proposed has been voted down. Notwithstanding that, we cast a vote of abstention.
All right. Any objection? Hearing none. Senate Bill 1219 is approved on second reading.
Senate President Vicente C. Soto III, Senate President, Philippine Senate. Mr. Senate President, pursuant to the provisions of Article 6, Section 26, subparagraph 2 of the 1987 Constitution, I hereby certify to the necessity of the immediate enactment of Senate Bill number 1219 entitled An Act Modifying the Salary Schedule for Civilian Government Personnel and authorizing the grant of additional benefits and for other purposes to address the need to further invigorate public service with efficiency and productivity by providing all government civilian personnel a just and equitable compensation responsive to their economic needs. Best regards, very truly yours, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Senate Bill number 1219, an act modifying the salary schedule for civilian government personnel and authorizing the grant of additional benefits and for other purposes. Roll call vote. The honorable senators Angara, Binay, Cayetano, De Lima, De La Rosa, Drilon, Gatchalian, Go, Gordon, Ontiveros, Lacson, Lapid, Marcos, Pacquiao.
Please record my vote as an abstention, Mr. President.
Gatchalian, Go, Gordon, Ontiveros, Lacson, Lapid, Marcos, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Pimentel, Po, Recto, Revilla, Tolentino, Villanueva, Villar, Zubiri, Senate President Soto III.
With 21 affirmative votes, no negative votes, 1 abstention, Senate Bill 1219 is approved on third reading. Minority Leader is recognized.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, can we explain our vote of abstention?
Yes.
Mr. President, we would have wanted 5% across the board increase on the schedules proposed in the committee report. We sincerely feel that a 5% increase is not even enough to respond to the needs of our government workers today. However, unfortunately, the body accepted the explanation of the sponsor and the Department of Budget and Management that the government finances cannot afford such increases. And we dispute the proposition that it will increase substantially as to adversely affect the government resources. With that, Mr. President, we have voted to abstain because while we believe that the increases proposed in the committee report is not sufficient, we do not want to stand in the way of the salary increases of our employees. It would have been worse if a negative vote has been cast by the majority, because then our workers in government would not have any increase. You know, as they say, a glass half full is better than an empty glass. So that's why we cast a vote of abstention, because while we believe that the increase is not sufficient, we do appreciate that a negative vote would would have meant that we are opposing the increases in salary, which we are not. We're saying that we are abstaining because we do not find the increases sufficient to respond to the needs of our government workers, and that is why we voted. We did not cast a negative vote, but in order to allow the increases to take place, we cast a vote of abstention.